Hey people, it is Saturday, March the 1st. The time is 4:28 in the afternoon and it is currently minus 8 degrees Celsius. But it feels more like minus 17 with the nasty wind chill. Toronto is back in a deep freeze, hopefully a temporary deep freeze. Now that we've left February behind, it went from mild to freezing again. Let's hope spring will put an end to this nonsense soon enough. I'm currently on Tecumseth, heading south from Queen Street. This is a residential side street that I don't often walk along. Once you go north of Queen Street, Tecumseth becomes Palmerston Street, and further north than that, it becomes Palmerston Boulevard, and I did a walk along Palmerston, but I thought maybe I would continue south here on Tecumseth and make my way down to Wellington Street, and then we take a walk east into the heart of downtown along Wellington Street. I have a feeling that dog will probably stop at every pole along the way, so maybe I'll get around the dog while I have a chance. So once we get to Wellington Street, we'll pass through more residential areas, but it'll transition into a much more built-up, high-density area the closer we get to downtown. And Wellington does continue right through the heart of the financial district also. So we'll see quite a change in the cityscape as we make our way along. Actually, video number 3 I have recorded today. I was hoping for some much more pleasant weather to come out and do a few videos, but I guess today was the day. I didn't really have any other videos in the bank. I had no choice but to come out in the cold today. I like these residential side streets in the old part of town. Lots of old, dense 19th century housing. Lots of different housing styles also. Especially fond of the row houses. King Street right up ahead. Doesn't look like I'll make this light though. For King. You can see off to the east, right into the heart of the city. And off in that direction is Liberty Village and Parkdale beyond that. I don't think I've ever done a walk along Tecumseth before. These townhouses are obviously much more recently constructed. It's nice that they decided to at least keep the feel of the existing housing stock. Kept it somewhat dense. And here is Wellington. So Tecumseth goes for another block or two to the south. You can see the Gardner Expressway off in the distance. Traffic is crawling along on the Gardner right now. And Liberty Village is just over there where you see those tall condos. But now we're going to head east. Looks like we're going to cross Bathurst Street. And that's where you officially enter downtown Toronto. Sidewalk closed. Because in Toronto, no sidewalk goes unobstructed. The effective speed bump there. This new building seems close to completion. It would be nice to get all the public realm back here, back to normal. Remember the sidewalk along Bathurst there was inaccessible for several years. You had to walk out into the street just to get past that construction site. Here's busy Bathurst Street. It's densifying quite a bit along this southernmost stretch, all the way down to the lakeshore. See, that crane up ahead is for actually the new subway station that will be located there, or the Ontario line. The wind is bitter cold here. And from here on in, it's pretty dense and built up, all the way east to the St. Lawrence Market neighborhood, with some parks along the way. This is the fairly new bike lane here on Wellington. It's a two-way bike lane. These were considered, I think, the best bike lanes in the city when they first opened. I think since then, though, some other new bike lanes maybe have moved up in the rankings ahead of this one, but this is still an excellent bike lane on Wellington. I think this is Victoria Memorial Park. There's a war memorial there, as you can see. All the snow has just turned to ice here. That looks very slippery. Might be taking a chance if you decide to walk across there. Victoria Memorial Square improvements, I guess. It's not park, but square. Close enough. It's getting a bit of a redo. Across Portland Street. It's another street that has really densified in recent years. And that huge cluster of buildings is the Well. It's a commercial, retail, and residential complex. Most people think of the mall that's there on site, which is just referred to as the Well also. But the entire development does share that name. Now here we have a mix of some newer mid-rise residential buildings and some old historic brick mid-rise buildings. And the public realm has really been improved greatly along these couple of blocks of Wellington, largely due to the construction of the Well. Maybe I'll cross the street once we get a bit further down. Check out all the new streetscaping running alongside the development there, with interlocking brick and lots of benches, and in the non-frozen time of year, lots of nice greenery has been planted there also. All right, let's cross. See, the bike lane has switched to this side of the street here, but it's still a two-way bike lane. Currently standing in it. So here's where all the new streetscaping begins, at Draper Street. Lots of benches. It's cold enough out here that it's hard to enunciate my words. My mouth is not cooperating with my brain. Now that March is here, spring cannot come soon enough. There's that huge condo development that is still totally unclad. Apparently the supplier of the cladding went bankrupt. So the building has just been building its concrete skeleton without any cladding on site. I'm not sure how much longer that'll continue. But you can see the beautiful old historic buildings here. Restaurants and cafes. Some patios. Wellington Street. It's almost like a destination street now, at least on this stretch. The well right here. See the financial district not too far away. There's looking into the well. I've done some tours through there if you're interested to see what that's like. It's a shopping mall that is open to the air. It's 3 levels. Imagine on a day like this, though, traffic in the Well Mall is probably on the lower side. You do get some shelter when you're walking through there from the wind, but you still feel the the temperature, and when it's this cold, it doesn't make all that much difference. I'll come back here in the spring on a nice warm day. See how much more lively it will be. The 2 tallest buildings in the Well, the office tower and the tallest condo tower. She was not enjoying the wind. It's kind of behind me, pushing me along, but she was walking right into it. You can see the pained expression on her face, because it does kind of hurt a little bit when the wind is blowing in your face with a minus 17 wind chill. Spadina Avenue. Looks like we got some traffic chaos here. Looks like I can make it across. Spadina streetcar is still out of commission. It was supposed to have been reinstated by the end of 2024, but of course that didn't happen. So the Spadina buses are still running here to replace it. Another look at the well. And Wellington Street continues. This is Clarence Square Park. There was a huge homeless encampment here, but it was cleared out a while ago. It was one of the biggest in the city. Lovely old row houses across the way. Lots of new towers on the rise. This is the entertainment district over here. I think now they just call it West Downtown. Toronto Downtown West. I knew I had that reversed. Now they had the banners up to make it official. I don't know why they changed the name from Entertainment District to Downtown West. A number of hotels sprinkled throughout this part of town. Hotels, restaurants, theaters. That's why they called it the Entertainment District at one time, and all that stuff is still in the area, so not sure what happened to the entertainment. They felt they had to change the name. This is Peter Street, our Blue Jays way, along this stretch. This southward leads straight to the Sky Dome, where the Toronto Blue Jays play. It's very dark and shady here. This is a canyon now of tall buildings. Probably feel a couple of degrees colder walking along there than here out in the sunlight.
worst.
Got more hotels here. This might be the part of downtown with the highest density of hotels. Although all the action is on King Street, one block to the north, in terms of restaurants and busy sidewalks. Wellington here has a bit of a quieter vibe to it. It does have some stuff, but compared to King Street, it's quite sleepy and a bit dull, admittedly. King Street also has the Canada Walk of Fame and several theaters. John Street. You can also get to the Sky Dome if you go south down there and up into the heart of the neighborhood, and also to Queen and John, which was once the home of much music. I always thought these were odd little sculptures here. It's like not really too clear what these even are. They don't look like any existing animal I can think of. And this ginormous complex is the head office of the CBC. Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This is probably the glitziest part of Wellington Street, where the Ritz-Carlton is. Luxury hotel and residential tower. And here's an entrance to the Path here at Metro Hall. The Path is the vast underground network of concourses stretching underneath most of the financial district, as well as into the South Core and all the way up to Yonge and Dundas. I could walk indoors from this point all the way to Yonge and Dundas if I wanted to avoid the cold. Or all the way south to Queen's Quay. David Pico Square and Roy Thompson Hall. That's where you can catch performance by the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. And take in some of the surroundings. Get nice views of the financial district from the square. This building was completed in the early 1980s. It's been featured in lots of movies and TV shows over the years, usually standing in as some sort of futuristic structure. And sometimes they digitally superimpose a tower on top of it, such as on the show The Boys, where it becomes Vought headquarters. Here is Simcoe Street. So we're on the edge of the financial district now. Muzak. Got lots of bars around here once you start coming into the financial district. A lot of these restaurant bars are hangout places for office workers. All right, maybe I'll cross to the other side. Here at Beer Town at the corner of University Avenue. I know the subway is closed this weekend. Just another stop or so to the north, I think up at Osgood Station. Or it's closed from Osgood Station all the way around the Yonge Street Loop, all the way up to Yonge and Bloor. So once you go north of Osgood Station, you can catch the train there from Osgood going north. So shuttle buses are running, and I can see some of them right over here. There's a look south towards Front Street. So right in the heart of the financial district now. The TD Center Towers.
I know.
Lots of shuttle buses. Just over half an hour ago, we were walking through a low-rise residential area of old Victorian row houses, and now we're surrounded by skyscrapers here in the financial district. See the backside of the Royal York Hotel. Lots of entrances to underground parking here along this part of Wellington. Once again, it's got a bit of almost like a backside flavor to it. Where the more interesting streets are to the north and the south. But some really awesome views as we approach Bay Street. Pretty busy here for a weekend in the financial district. Not to mention a freezing cold weekend at that. The Royal Bank Plaza, Brookfield Place. The new towers of CIBC Square. Union Station is just to the south. Looking straight north up Bay Street. Maybe I'll cross to the other side. And we're almost at Yonge Street. And from there you cross over to the east side. And Wellington Street comes to an end just about another block east of Yonge. At Church Street, maybe 2 blocks. This might be the nicest block of historic storefronts on this part of Wellington Street. Yonge Street. Quite lively. I guess I can cross here even though the bus is not making it easy. You really feel like you're in the thick of things when you're here. More beautiful old historic buildings on the corner. And it's a nice new streetscaping as we continue east here towards the end of Wellington Street. I think I'm going to start to wrap up the walk. Hope you found it enjoyable as we made our way from Tecumseth and Queen, south to Wellington, and then east along a good portion of Wellington Street. There's a bit more of it to the west of Tecumseth, but we'll save that for another walk. I hope you enjoyed what we did see of Wellington Street. Leave a comment down below if you did or not. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal or via my merch store. And you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. As we look at Birksea Park. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. And right up ahead is Church Street. And that's all for Wellington. So be sure to keep checking back. And thanks to all the channel members. Because, as always, I will continue.